so good. And I said, okay. And I always told him I would never eat deer. And I ate a whole bowl of the soup. And he goes, how did Bambi taste? I said, you're kidding me. So then I realized I must like it.
What? Yeah. I tell you, moose meat's and Dall sheep meat's pretty good too.
Yeah.
And caribou, yeah, I had all that when I was in Alaska.
All right, Fran, I'm gonna hit the record button. We'll get started, everybody. My name's Brian Ankney, and I'm with Auto Success Magazine, and we're really proud and happy to bring Fran and Tiffany to this webinar for everybody to enjoy today. Fran's written more success stories for me through the years in the magazine than anyone else. Always brings really neat people and stories of success and to us, and so we figured our first webinar we'd invite Fran, and we plan on doing a lot of these with Fran. And if you haven't yet, please join the 30 Sales a Month group on Facebook, because that's our dominant way that we'll announce these so people can come and enjoy them with us. If we also have Tiffany Kruzer with us, and Fran's going to talk to her about what she does and how she does it, and how she's able to deliver 40 cars a month, even in the month that she was 8 months pregnant. So Fran, if you want to go ahead and take over, my friend.
All right. My name is Fran Keller. Real quick about me. Some of you know me and some don't. I got in the car business in the early 80s. Of course, I didn't know anything. But it took me a little over 2 years to sell 50-plus cars a month. And I pretty much did it on my own by getting repeats and referrals. I learned real quick there was more customers outside ready to buy than will ever be there on our biggest sale, so I went and got them. And from traveling around the United States for all these years, I've helped a lot of people sell 40 cars or more, and a lot of them don't work long hours, and most of it's from prospecting and goal setting. And that's where we're lucky enough to have Tiffany with us today. So I met Tiffany was introduced to her about 2.5 years ago, and now she sells 40 cars a month, and she works about 40 hours a week. So Tiffany, okay, I'll ask you a couple questions, what you're doing and how you're doing it, and we'll go from there, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Number one, what do you do all day when you come to work?
Well, I don't stop, and that's one of the points a lot of my managers say is that I don't stop working. A lot of the people here, a lot of them are workers, but if they have a day of fantasy football or something else they want to pay attention to, they decide not to sell cars, which I always try to do something different, and that means work. So I'll make calls, do letters. I follow up with my customers. I ask for referrals. Everywhere I go, people know I sell cars. I try to make the best of my day by doing the most work I can, so that way I can at least sell. I like to try to sell 3 cars or more a day if I can too. And if it's not by someone coming in just to see me that already knew me, I am going to run up and get the floor up that no one else sees pulling in while they're doing something else.
So you pretty much have like a daily routine you stick to? I think that's in our book, Brian.
Yes.
So you come to work when you're there, so you have a game plan.
Correct.
And you said, how many phone calls do you make a day?
I used to be able to do a little bit more. I used to make my whole goal, I used to actually make about 200 calls a day. But it's actually gotten to a little bit less. I do about 100 a day now just because most of the time I'm selling and I don't have time to make as many phone calls as I used to, which I've been trying to I sometimes will stay after. I'm more of a person that'll stay later versus I like to come in late, but I'll stay later and I'll do my phone calls and follow up later in the evening when people are home. That way I can at least reach them and make the best out of my phone calls.
Okay, so pretty much when you come in, you don't go home until it's done.
Correct.
Okay. How many mailers do you do a day?
I try to send out letters to all my customers, so I send out at least, I'm saying my letters that I send out is usually about almost 50 to 100 a day that get printed for me. And then I also try to do my own personal stuff also, which are postcards, which I typically will try to get maybe about 10 or 20 of those out a day also.
All right, Tiffany, you mastered the art of coming to work. Now, there's people here, some of the old pros, they have a hard time doing 20 or 25 mailers a day. Now, it's obviously important enough to you to do all those mailers because you get the return from doing it.
Yes, it's important to do that because, I mean, I don't know how people say they don't have time when I see so many people having hours of time either taking cigarette breaks, and unfortunately I do smoke, but I only probably smoke maybe 1 or 2 a day if I get to run outside. I see people doing their fantasy football. I see so many things where they could be making more time to make more money for their family because that's more important to me than those other things.
Okay, that brings us back to the goal setting. That's on page 7 in our book. Now, I talked to you the other day. You said the goal setting helped you get focused on more things. Would you take a second and share that with us?
Yes, I basically, I also make sure that what I've been doing that Fran taught me was to put together some envelopes. I basically want to set goals not only based on my efforts at work of like how many appointments I have and everything else, but also into my lifestyle of putting away money to be able to have goals for fun stuff like Christmas and family and, vacation and, with the kids, that's my most important thing. I always want to have a little extra for that. I just got my daughter braces, so I always have to put some money aside, and doing the goals is what keeps you more motivated, and it keeps you seeing what you're actually putting aside for your family and yourself.
Yeah, I think that's real important, and a lot of you experts, and obviously you are, say the same thing. I mean, I had plenty of salespeople that were doing 25 cars a month, but when they started to put money away in these goals and they see themselves becoming more financially successful, like it's on your screen now, you put a little bit of money away each time you get paid and watch what happens. Now, you put some money away in prospecting tools. I think you said the other day you were going to get like beer coasters or something?
Yep, I'm actually ordering them this week. I just been talking to the bar owner about which ones he would prefer to because, he wanted me to, he doesn't mind using them, but he wants me to use ones that, are appropriate for his store, his business. But he's very, willing to do that to help me out too. But I did the beer coasters. I bought the magnets so that way my business card could be on the front of the refrigerator of all my customers, and that has helped tremendously. There's so many customers of mine that have said, "Oh, your name is right on my refrigerator every time I open it." So it's if a family or friends over their house or anything, they're talking cars, they'll say, "Oh, look, Tiffany, I know this girl," and I've gotten a lot of people from that. A lot of times also, I also use the sell by, Tiffany, the stickers that I got from you, Fran, that have my number in it, so that way when they open up their car door, right at the bottom it says sold by Tiffany Kruzer with my phone number. I mean, that's another way for people not to forget you. I think branding yourself is very important, and, if it's the little things you do to get your name out there, that's the most important.
Well, that's so awesome. There's so many people that are doing 20 or 25 cars a month, but they work long hours to do it, and they're good salespeople. What they don't have is customers to talk to get to that 35, 40 cars a month. And I have to ask you, even though you're at the success you are now, why do you continue to buy prospecting tools?
You can't stop. If you stop buying those kind of tools, you're never going to, it's just like buying a car or buying whatever. You need a car to get to work. I mean, you have to buy stuff to do better in life. That's what it's about, just like being a mechanic. They have tons of toolboxes and they have tools in it. I mean, how are you going to work on a car if you don't have tools?
That's really awesome. I hope everybody realizes what you said. And I say this a lot. One prospecting tool won't make you rich, but many will make you wealthy. And you just keep adding to it. And when you do that, like you said, more and more people come in and ask for you. Now, when you work deals, aren't your close ratio and grosses higher by getting the prospecting tools?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the deals are easier, too. I mean, people come in. I had a deal this morning. They drove from Macedonia, Ohio, which is probably, they passed maybe 3 to 4 Honda dealerships coming to see me. And the only reason they did is they said because the last time we did business, which was about 5 months ago with their daughter, that I made it so quick and simple and easy to make the deal happen that they came to me to do the deal again this morning. And I also didn't get to work till 11 a.m. this morning, and I've already sold 2 cars and online right now at 2 o'clock. And my boss is a little mad that I was late, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. And here's the difference. I think because you paid your dues, that you get the prospecting calls. And do you send everybody birthday cards and call them?
Yes. I always send out. We do a birthday letter that we send out. We're actually investing here at the store in some more cards that are a little bit more personal, which I'm going to like better for birthday cards. So that's another thing we're working on here. We've been sending out. I've also started a new tool here at the dealership. Well, the managers all got together and did this, and they're actually, when people have about 6 months up to their lease, every month before their lease is up, we send them a gift with a reminder. So we'll send them a coffee mug with coffee, and we'll say, your lease is coming up in a few months. Have a cup of coffee on us and come see us soon. Anything to just keep them, engaged and knowing that, this is where they need to come to do business again.
That's awesome. Now on page 67 and 68 in our book with the prospecting, Brian's going to put that on the screen. Now, do you have anything on the back of your business card?
Do I? No.
Okay. All right.
I don't do that.
I don't know if you see the screen there, but on your magnets, what do you have on your magnets?
I have my actual business card, like how your picture right there, the Fran Taylor, the email. I have my cell phone, though. I have the website to my dealership, so I have all the contact info.
All right. Well, that's really neat. Do you have your information on your Facebook page, your contact information, if somebody wants to call you?
Yes, and I have customers and friends on my Facebook.
Well, I think that's awesome because I see a lot of salespeople. They have a Facebook page and it says, "Ask me for my phone number." Do you think they're losing business by not getting their name out there?
Yeah, I want everyone to have my phone number. And I always was nervous at first about, putting my cell phone out to the world, but I've never had a problem. And I've had the same cell phone for the last 12 years I've been here at this dealership. And you know what, it makes it simpler. I even tell customers, especially with how busy I am, I might be on a test drive, text me. I might be able to just answer you back quicker. And I get so many people that do that. Especially on your day off, I get so many people that will just contact me that way. When I was on maternity leave, people were coming in asking for me, and the manager said, well, we'll get someone else to help you. And they said, that's okay, we'll be back in a month.
Well, I think that's awesome when they do that. Tiffany, do you still do all the steps of the sales when you get 2 or 3 people waiting for you?
Yes, you have to keep going. You have to follow through, and you have to make sure you do everything you're supposed to do. I just am running around like an idiot half the time, but I do all the steps.
I think that's important as well. Brian, we have a couple of questions coming in.
Yeah, let me go to the question page, Fran. Does anybody have any questions for Fran?
I think you had a question from Alaska or something, didn't you?
Yep. I've got John from Alaska wants to know, Tiffany, what percentage of your business is from referrals?
I usually combine my repeats and referrals into one. I have to say almost 50% of my business is from repeats and referrals, or even with referrals, I'd have to say I probably get 20% of my business. If I had to do repeats, I have to say that's almost 50 to 60 part of my business.
Wow.
So you're 80%. So you pretty much just go to work, and from doing the mailers and the prospecting tools, people just come flocking to you.
Yeah, usually I have to point at people come. I mean, I actually give the people that are newer on the floor a chance. I'll even say, hey, there's a guy walking in, even if I'm not with someone, because I don't want to, step on feet all the time. I need time to also make my calls and do the things I need time for when I'm not selling. So I'll be the one saying, hey, there's a guy walking in, there's a car that just pulled up, because my eyes see all of it. I always see if there's a car pulling up. I always see who's on the lot, and it's just, I don't know, it's just the whole hard-working thing where I think it's been burned into my brain, where I always see if there's a customer I know.
Well,
now, actually, I'd like to ask everybody that's on the call, if you're not a member of the 30 Sales a Month, please join. In just 3 months, we've gotten over 900 people involved, and that's a real good way to to connect with other people like Tiffany and share your knowledge and benefit from the knowledge of others, and Fran as well. Let me go back to my question page here.
Yeah, that's on Facebook. Just go to the top of the page, and type in 30 sales a month and ask to join. If you're in auto sales, we'll be happy to help you out or become a member with it.
I have another question from James. James wants to know how long you've been selling cars, Tiffany.
I've been at this dealership since January of 2002. And then before that, I actually was about 21 years old, and I worked at a BMW, Porsche, Audi dealership for a family friend. And I was actually told when I was leaving the place, I actually lost my job there because a lot of people were upset because a lot of people had to work their way up there. But since I had the last name as the owner, they said to me that I was too immature to sell cars. So as soon as I moved back to Ohio, I started here at Honda, and I've been here for 12 years ever since, so I think they might be taking that back these days.
I have a question from Lauren. Lauren wants to know, as a woman, what would you say the one thing that you do that makes you stand out from the boys?
Oh, God. Probably that I can multitask. A lot of people here, you know, they probably can maybe keep on track of one thing. I mean, there's a couple men here that can multitask, but I'd have to say multitasking. I mean, I sometimes have 3 to 4 desks full. And I can go back and forth between all of them. And usually I see the guys when they have more than one customer, they look a lot more like they don't know what's going on. But my laugh probably is what everyone says stands out the most. And I just think women can multitask a little bit better. I don't want to make any men mad about that, but we were meant to be mothers because we can, you know, focus on about 100 things at once.
All right. Bill would like to know, what would you recommend for someone new to a dealership to get the ball rolling?
One thing I think is important, which was told to me a while ago, if I was new in the business, I mean, there's a couple things. If I was new to a business and I wanted to try to get more prospects, if it was me, even if you're in a small town, you guys got to have businesses. You have to have banks somewhere. I mean, it's 20 miles away. I mean, if it was me, I'd be taking, you know, donuts or bagels with all my business cards, going and introducing myself, because I'm sure there's no one doing that. You know, why not go get your name out there as much as you can? If you just have to do that maybe twice a week and just take business cards, and I know you're going to run into someone. I know they're going to remember who you are when they're looking for a car. You know, you could even take a list of maybe your inventory with it, and just so that way they can see it, and maybe they weren't even looking for a car, but now they're going to take a look at it and say, wow, that's a pretty cool car. You know, and be aggressive. I mean, a lot of dealerships, if you're not having an up system, you should be able to just be aggressive. You know, stand by the door. Do what other people don't do. You know, when it used to be cold outside, me and my other, he's a manager now, he's my manager, we used to go outside. We'd get a Honda Odyssey. We'd put up the back tailgate. It'd be snowing and 20 degrees. And sorry about that. I basically would, you know, pull up a van and we'd sit outside, and it would be freezing and snowing, and we'd stand out there. We didn't care, and we waited for the customer to pull in, just because, you know, you are new and you have to be able to do it.
Okay. Here we go. William Wallace would like to know, what's the best way to get over the plateau we often hit?
I think it's more of just trying to set goals like Fran talks about. I mean, I always told myself I wanted to sell 20 cars a month, and that was my goal. And once I hit 30, I didn't want less than 30 because I already hit it. So now it's like it embeds into my brain that now I have to go for 35, or now I have to go for 40. Now that I hit 40, I hit 42. That's my high mark that I just did this year. I finally beat my own record. But, you know, I'd really like to go to 50. You know, I'm a type of person that I don't want to stop. I don't like to lose. I want to be number one. And I used to not be number one. When I was at the dealership, there was a guy that always won. And I remember I was getting close to him, and everyone kept rooting for me. They're like, you got to beat him. You got to beat him. And I made it my goal that I was going to beat him, and I did. And as soon as I did, he never won again. And he doesn't work here anymore.
Tiffany, Tom would like to know, do you have an assistant to help you with activities?
No, I wish I did. But no, I do not. I have to do it myself. I have to do pretty much everything. And I actually do help my managers, like, too, with some stuff. I actually do dealer trades. I do my own dealer trades typically to help out my other boss. I do the lease turn-ins. I try to do as many as I can to help in that aspect. plus selling. And with the internet, I think I saw someone ask if they get internet leads. I basically, that's my manager, Nick Lorenzo. I basically, they spread them out to everyone. It's going to be now like we have about 12 or 15 salespeople here, and everyone gets them spread out amongst each other. Typically, yes, the ones that they see closing better in a month will get more leads, but I do get some leads also. And Nick Lorenzo is my #1 support team. I want him to hear me say that since he's asking.
Perfect.
He's my major supporter of not coming in on time, too.
Tiffany, I think it's safe to say you're way more serious than everybody else when you come to work. You just roll up your sleeves and dig in. Now, you told me about a week or so ago that, you work 40 hours a week. Now, all the things you said about doing mailers, phone calls, and doing all that other things, and you do it on your own without assistance, what do you got advice for somebody to say that who's doing 15, 18 calls a month, and they say they don't have time? They're either out of focus or what? I just want your opinion on that.
So, just because you're a little, cutting out to me also when you're talking, I don't know why, but you're basically saying, so the people that do work a lot of hours and they're selling only 15 to 18 cars a month, what was the last part of it?
Well, what would you say to get them to change or to give them advice why they should change? Because, you're about great as it gets. You sell big numbers. You work less hours than most of them, and you enjoy life more. And, what kind of advice you got for somebody that's been doing it for a couple of years and, I won't say stuck at 15, but, even 20 cars is okay, but it's not stardom. So, one thing that motivates me is my family, and I looked at it this way. I wanted to get to a point where I didn't have to work a lot of hours, and I could still spend time with my kids, and I could still sell tons of cars. Okay, so my whole goal always was, if you're working so many hours like that, I just think that you're just not using your time properly. There has to be things you're not doing right. It's almost like you have to take a step back and see, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Why am I not, why am I only selling 15 to 18 cars, but I'm working 50 to 60 hours a week? To me, that's not worth it. I would say, you'd have to, make a daily plan for yourself. How many phone calls you're going to do. Set goals for yourself. If you live in a small town, get out there more. Meet more people. Make a Facebook. Make sure everyone you know in your family, your friends in the universe knows that you sell cars. You just have to, want it enough to get better results. And also buy some prospecting tools, like Fran says. You have to make sure your name gets out there enough. It's all about getting your name and branding yourself. Why are you different? What should be your nickname at the dealership? Why should they remember you? What do you do different to take care of people? Another thing I do that's huge is, I'm on DealerRater.com. A lot of the guys I saw on this, the 30 sales a month do the same thing. And I have like maybe a couple hundred reviews, I think. I haven't even checked lately. But I ask every customer of mine, please go on there and make a review, because now every time I send out an internet lead, I have to sell myself of why they're going to come buy from me. Because those people are, checking 20 dealerships. So I want them to see my reviews. I put a link to it so that way they can see what I do different.
Brian would like to know, what is your gross average per deal? He said it's great to sell a lot, but gross is what we take to the grocery store.
Per deal, I'd probably say, I think I averaged maybe the 40 cars that one month. I think I was over, I think it was 2,000 a copy. I mean, I don't know. I look at what I'm making. All I know is that I'm going to be, over 6 figures this year. I'm fine with that. That's what I like, and I know it's just going to keep growing. So to me, that's what I look at.
Well, $2,000, if you're getting 25%, that's $500 a car. I think it's awesome. Before the meeting started, you said your goal every year is to deliver over 400 cars. And I think that's outstanding. And with your prospecting and what you're doing, I think you'll end up doing that, year in and year out. Brian, isn't there any more questions from, I think you had one from Connecticut or someplace?
Oh, no, actually, I have one from Bill right here that says, do you strictly sell new or used or both?
We're allowed to have an open floor. We sell new and used. Our used was doing a little bad lately, so they recently got a new manager, so they want to try to make that a little larger for us. So we did the most we've ever done as a new car dealer and did 206 new cars last month, and I think around like 70 used, which before we were, maybe trying to do 200 with both. So we've really started focusing on units. What we want to do is try to get as many customers here and sell as many as we can. But I like being able to sell new and used because the used is what makes up for my growth, at least.
All right. Hey, everyone, I would like to thank everyone for attending our webinar today with Tiffany. Tiffany, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. Go sell a couple more cars today. Fran, I really appreciate you joining us, and I'd like everybody that's on the line to know that we'll be doing more of these. Go to 30 sales a month, and you'll see notifications of when we're going to do our next one with another superstar salesperson. If you would like to check out any of Fran's books, his training, his videos. He has, he has desktop planners. You can go to frantaylor.net, and if you want to meet more winners like Tiffany, go to 30 Sales a Month on Facebook and join us. And actually, if you wouldn't mind, I apologize for the audio. I'm not sure what's wrong. We will address that before the next one. But if you could please, if you had a good time, if you feel like you learned something, go to 30 Sales a Month and make a comment, and so that everybody else, knows that this was a good webinar. And I will be posting the Cruise certificate winners to 30 Sales a Month here in about a half hour. I thank you guys. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Tiffany, and thanks everyone for listening in.